Sometimes, what feels like God's silence is actually God's shaping. The rejection you didn't deserve, the collapse you couldn't prevent, the night you prayed and heard nothing but your own breathing. It doesn't mean you've been abandoned, sometimes it means you've been selected. Because God rarely builds a strong man in a comfortable season. He forms him where pride can't survive, where masks fall off, and where faith becomes more than a word. If your life has been breaking lately, plans, relationships, confidence, control, don't rush to label it as punishment. There are sacred reasons God allows the pressure, and when you see them, your pain will stop feeling random and start feeling like direction. There is a kind of sleep that looks like success. You still show up, still work, still smile in photos, but inside, you are numb. You start confusing motion with meaning, noise with purpose, attention with identity. So God allows a shaking, not because he hates you, but because he refuses to let you live half alive. Sometimes the breaking is the alarm clock for your spirit. It snaps you out of autopilot and forces you to ask the questions you kept avoiding. Who am I without applause? What do I believe when results disappear? What am I chasing and why? The pain becomes a spotlight. It shows you where you've been living on adrenaline instead of conviction. And once a man wakes up, truly wakes up, he can't go back to shallow living. That awakening is the first mercy. A tree can look healthy while still growing the wrong things. There are branches that drink the life out of the trunk, habits that slowly rob you, relationships that feed your ego but drain your soul, routines that keep you busy but keep you small. God prunes what you won't release. And pruning always feels violent to the part of you that attached to what is familiar. You might call it loss. God calls it protection. Because if he plans to place weight on your life, responsibility, influence, provision, he will remove anything that would rot under pressure. If your season includes sudden distance from certain people, sudden disgust for certain habits, sudden discomfort in places you used to love, that might not be depression. It might be pruning. It's God saying, you can't carry the next assignment with the old attachments. Many men don't know they're performing until the stage collapses. When life is stable, it's easy to look strong. But the moment you lose control, money shifts, relationships strain, plans delay, whatever was real in you remains. And whatever was fake falls apart. God doesn't expose you to shame you. He exposes you to heal you. Because a calling built on performance will eventually break under real pressure. So God brings you to a moment where you can't keep up the image anymore. You can't outwork the emptiness. You can't distract yourself out of the truth. And in that honesty, something holy happens. You finally meet the real you. The man who's scared, the man who's tired, the man who doesn't have answers. That's not failure, that's the beginning of transformation. Because God can't use a mask. But he can rebuild a man. Power without surrender becomes pride. Influence without surrender becomes control. Leadership without surrender becomes manipulation. So before God trusts a man with more, he teaches him to release his grip. Surrender is not weakness, it's alignment. It's saying, God, I will obey even when I don't understand. I will keep my character even when I can't see the reward. I will let you lead, even when my ego wants to drive. And yes, this is where many men struggle. Because surrender feels like losing. It feels like being small. But what if surrender is the doorway to real strength? The strongest man in the room is often the one who doesn't need to dominate. God breaks the obsession with control so he can build the ability to carry authority without being. Some men are built for excellence. They can execute, they can plan, they can win. But if the heart is untested, success can make a man cold. He starts seeing people as numbers, productivity, results, roles, usefulness. So God allows pain that makes you human again. When you've tasted loneliness, you stop mocking other people's struggles. When you've faced your own weakness, you stop judging others so quickly. When you've been on your knees, you learn how to speak to someone else who is barely holding on. This is why many leaders who truly change lives have a backstory they don't brag about. They learned empathy in hidden places. They learned patience in seasons where nothing moved. They learned how to encourage because they needed encouragement. And suddenly, your breaking becomes a bridge. People trust you not because you are perfect, but because you are real. There's a hunger inside many men. To be seen, to be chosen, to be respected. That hunger isn't evil, but it becomes dangerous when it rules you. If your identity is built on validation, you will compromise to keep it. You will shrink your convictions to stay liked. You will trade peace for applause. So God removes the crowd sometimes. He lets you sit in a season where you don't feel celebrated, where your work is unnoticed, where your prayers are private, where your wins don't impress anyone. And it's painful because the ego starves. But that's the point. God is detoxing your motives. He's teaching you to obey without an audience, to stay faithful without external rewards, to keep building even when no one claps. Because when a man can live that way, he becomes dangerous in the best way. He can't be bought by opinions. He can't be controlled by praise. If this is speaking to your season, pause for a second and comment, "Rebuilt, not for me," but as a reminder to yourself that this breaking is not the end. And if you want more messages like this, subscribe so you don't walk through this alone. Sometimes you feel lonely not because you are unlovable, but because you are being relocated spiritually. Separation hurts because it feels like losing a tribe. But not everyone can go where God is taking you. Some people only know the old version of you, the one that entertained them, benefited them, needed them. And when you start changing, they feel threatened. So God creates distance. He makes certain rooms feel wrong. He makes old conversations taste empty. He makes you uncomfortable with normal. This is not arrogance, it's assignment. Because your environment shapes your appetite. Your circle influences your standards. And if God is building a man with purpose, He will not let him stay planted in soil that can't feed the future. The isolation becomes a workshop. God does deep work when no one else is watching. He teaches you to stand without leaning on unhealthy support. He teaches you to hear His voice without the noise of everyone else's opinions. Here's the mystery. Sometimes God allows you to break because He intends to distribute what's inside you. Think about it, many things must be opened to become useful. Seeds must split to grow. Wheat must be crushed to become bread. Grapes must be pressed to become wine. In the same way, God may be allowing pressure because He's pulling something out of you that comfort never could. A deeper wisdom, a steadier courage, a purer love, a stronger discernment. A man who can stand in storms and not lose himself. And when God rebuilds you, you won't just return to life, you will return with substance. You will speak differently. You will choose differently. You will lead differently. You will carry pain without becoming bitter. You will carry blessing without becoming proud. You will become the kind of man who doesn't just survive, but strengthens others. When God breaks a man, it rarely looks holy in the moment. It looks messy. It looks like losing your rhythm. It looks like questions you never thought you'd ask. It looks like quiet nights where you replay everything, what you did, what you didn't do, what you should have seen coming. And the hardest part is this. You can't always explain it to people. You can't summarize spiritual surgery in a casual conversation. So you just carry it. You smile when you can. You stay silent when you must. And you wonder if anyone understands what's happening inside you. But hear this, and let it land gently. God is not wasting your pain. Not a single tear. Not a single delay. Not a single disappointment that you thought shouldn't have happened. Some of your deepest wounds will become your deepest wisdom. Some of the doors that closed were not rejection, they were rescue. Some of the friendships that faded were not abandonment, they were alignment. Some of the seasons that felt like failure were actually God removing a false foundation before building something unshakable. And yes, it hurts, because breaking always feels like losing something. But sometimes what you're losing is the version of you that couldn't survive the future God is preparing. The man who needed constant approval. The man who craved control. The man who avoided stillness because stillness revealed what he didn't want to face. The man who was strong in public but collapsing in private. God loves you too much to let that version lead your life. He will disrupt what is comfortable if it keeps you from what is destined. There is a kind of strength that only comes from surrender. Not surrender as quitting, surrender as trust. The kind of trust that says, God, I don't understand this chapter, but I refuse to interpret your character through my circumstances. Because your circumstances change. Your feelings change. People change. But God's purpose doesn't. If He started the work in you, He will not leave it half-finished. He doesn't break to destroy. He breaks to rebuild with integrity. So if you're in that season right now where life feels stripped down, let me give you something practical to hold on to. First, stop calling yourself behind. You are not behind. You are being prepared. Some people are moving fast but shallow. God is building you slow but deep. Depth takes time. Roots take time. And the man with deep roots survives storms that destroy surface-level strength. Second, stop forcing what God is removing. If you keep wrestling to keep an old door open, you might delay your own peace. Let the door close. Let it close with dignity. Let it close with prayer. Let it close with the belief that if it was truly yours, God would not need to trick you to keep it. Third, stop isolating in shame. There is a difference between solitude and isolation. Solitude is where God meets you. Isolation is where the enemy whispers lies. You don't have to announce everything to everyone, but you do need someone safe, a mentor, a trusted friend, a community, because healing grows faster in light than in secrecy. Fourth, stop waiting to feel ready before you obey. Most men will never feel fully ready. Obedience is the doorway to readiness. Take the next right step, not the perfect step. Not the step that guarantees comfort, just the step that aligns with truth. God often reveals the second step after you take the first. And lastly, guard your heart from bitterness. Bitterness is what happens when pain stays unprocessed. It turns you into a man who is always defensive, always suspicious, always cold. And that's not who you were created to be. Let the breaking make you wiser, not harder. Let it make you sharper, not cruel. Let it make you humble, not hopeless. Because here is the promise hidden inside this message. The same God who allows the breaking is the God who restores. And restoration doesn't always look like getting back what you lost. Sometimes restoration looks like becoming who you were always meant to be. It looks like peace that doesn't depend on outcomes. It looks like confidence that doesn't depend on compliments. It looks like discipline that doesn't depend on motivation. It looks like a man who is steady because he knows who he belongs to. One day, you'll look back and realize the breaking saved you. It saved you from a marriage you weren't ready to lead. It saved you from a career that would have consumed your soul. It saved you from friendships that would have trapped you in old patterns. It saved you from being successful in a way that would have destroyed you privately. And you will thank God not because the pain was pleasant, but because the purpose was priceless. So don't quit in the middle of the process. Don't walk away while God is still shaping. Don't make permanent decisions in temporary darkness. If you feel weak, that doesn't mean you're disqualified. It might mean you're finally in the exact place where God can build you without your ego interfering. And if you want to respond to this right now, do it in a simple way. Comment "rebuilt" if you believe God is rebuilding you, even if you can't see the full picture yet. Like this video so it reaches someone who is quietly breaking and doesn't know why. Share it with one person you care about, one man who is carrying pressure in silence. And subscribe for more faith-based motivation, because you don't have to walk through this season alone. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. You are not being destroyed. You are being refined. And the man God rebuilds is the man He can trust.